Now, last week on the Skeptic Zone, I'm sure you will recall we interviewed Kirill Alvarov, all the way from Germany, who wrote a piece, an opinion piece, an essay about the problems with the skeptical movement and why, in his opinion, it hasn't been very successful, really, over the last decade or two. And that also is in regard to outreach. Well, listening to the Skeptic Zone, as they do every week, I'm sure, we had Rob Palmer and Susan Gerbeck from Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia. And they both sent me a note, a message. Rob sent me a text message while Susan recorded something, and I'll play that in a second. But Rob says, "Hi, Richard. I just heard your interview with Kirill Alvarov on the Skeptic Zone about the skeptical movement failing to do outreach to the public in order to change their hearts and minds. I think I need to comment on what I heard. You may well know what I'm about to say because you interviewed me at SciCon on this very subject. But here goes. I was thinking as I heard the interview on my car radio, mention guerrilla skeptics, mention guerrilla skeptics. Come on already, mention guerrilla skeptics. The interview ended and GSOW was not mentioned at all. If I was part of that conversation, I would have had to interject that for me, joining and growing GSOW is the best way I've found to reach outside the skeptical bubble and educate those who aren't part of our community. Before joining this team, I was totally frustrated. I wasn't able to change the minds of any true believers I know about virtually anything, and I didn't think there was anything I could do differently. Then, thanks to your podcast, I heard about GSOW. In the year and a half since joining the GSOW team, the 13 articles I created, or largely rewrote on Wikipedia, to add science and fight pseudoscience, collectively have had over 700,000 page viewings and counting. That doesn't even consider the unmeasured number of views on the many, many other articles I have made minor but significant, skeptically orientated changes to. How amazing is that? I often try to visualize that number. It's 10 or more baseball stadiums filled with people, and that from just one person, who, a little while ago, thought there was nothing they could do to help the movement. One example of what GSOW can do, ironically, was brought up by Kirill. He asserted that no one outside the skeptical movement knows about Randy's involvement with Uri Geller on The Tonight Show. Not true. A long time ago, I added a section to Geller's wiki article documenting the entire thing. The result is about 10,000 people per month since then have accessed that article and were able to read all about it. Many may be true believers and be reading about this for the first time. It may make at least some percentage reconsider that Geller is genuine, and by extension, maybe start to doubt all other woo peddlers. As a whole, GSOW team has over 24 million page views on just our major articles, with 1 million more added every month. Millions. I find that mind-boggling. But with all the woo in the world, it's never enough. The larger the team gets, the more we can do. So the best way I know to interject the skeptical viewpoint into the information available to the general public is to grow the size of the Guerrilla Skeptics team. Anyway, love the zone, but just had to point this out. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for your point of view. And it's nice to have a bit of back and forth on this topic. And here